All right. Well, Ian, we have a nice little intro here for you today, and I know how much you love hearing about yourself.
Yeah, this is very exciting for me.
Yeah.
Big moment.
Yeah, so I'll get right into it. Our guest today knows how to win. On the football field and in the mortgage world, Ian Shirey is the co-founder and COO of Green Lending, a fast-growing mortgage company in Ohio. Ian's been in the mortgage business for over 20 years, holding key leadership roles and building a reputation for using smart systems and high trust to drive performance. He's known for blending tech with teamwork, making loan officers more efficient and clients more informed. But before all that, Ian was an All-American center at Youngstown State, helping lead the team to a national title in '97. He's even in the YSU Hall of Fame and was recently named one of the top 25 players in school history. That's impressive. Today we'll talk about his journey from the gridiron to the boardroom, what it's like to start a mortgage company in today's market, and what's ahead for tech, leadership, and the world of real estate.
Nice.
Ian Shirey, welcome
to
the show.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show.
We let Tim do that because Tim's very, very fluent, very good with his words. You know, you let me or me do that, it's gonna sound a lot worse.
Yeah, we're fumbling all over the place.
I also left out the shellacking we took in '98, so I just kept that out of there.
98, yeah, in 99, we got our butts with my senior year, too.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, Georgia Southern.
Georgia
Whooped us,
Southern.
like,
Oh yeah, that was
lost
right.
by like
That's what I
30
meant.
points.
The '99 one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was rough.
that was a rough one. Yeah.
I don't bring that ring out that much.
No, don't come out very often.
No.
I don't think I've seen mine in months.
No,
they could be
it's
gone. I
it's
don't even know.
probably in a bag in my wife's
Yeah,
underwear drawer or something. That's where all the important stuff goes, right?
Oh, that's correct. So, for those of you that don't know, me and Ian have known each other for years. We met in college at Youngstown. We started to play football at Youngstown State. We took two exactly different paths at Youngstown State, where
Stop.
I stunk and Ian was really good. So, yeah, there's some good
Almost took him
questions.
out once.
Oh yeah, you did take me out almost. So if you don't know, Ian hit me with his screw in my shin bone
Oh,
and bursted the blood vessel. And I walked back to the
gosh.
huddle. Remember, it was like
it was immediate. Like, you know, like when you hit somebody with a monkey bubble, like when you were growing up, and it like imagine that magnified by 10 on
a shin.
on his shin.
Awful.
There's still a hole there.
There's
Like,
still
when
a
they had
hole in
to-
my leg.
Like the ultrasound to like break
Burnt
up
it.
like it burn a hole in his
Yeah.
leg.
Oh my
Yeah, so
gosh.
He almost took me
I
out, yeah.
permanently put my mark on him.
He put my mark. I always reach at it, touch it, and remember Ian every day.
Yeah.
No, just kidding. That was a good one. I forgot all about that too. See, CTE. We
Yeah.
talked about this earlier. Yeah. So what happened? How did you go from, because you went to school for CIS, and I know the stories. We're just gonna ask it for the people because I'm part of it. But how did you go from? And that was right. You went for CIS.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Cool. How did you go from transitioning from football to mortgages and being in mortgages in general?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I thank
Yeah.
you for it. So
Curse and a blessing.
Yeah, exactly. So I graduated right at the top of the tech bubble. So when there was the .com crash, 2001, I was coming out with a degree in computer information systems, and I have all these people that are really highly skilled, computer programmers that were all losing their jobs. There's all these small like .coms that were crashing and just failing out. So I couldn't find a job because I was in competition with, going into entry-level positions with these people with like 5-6 years experience. So I tried to get a job for a little bit and then wasn't able to. So I took a job as a recruiter as a headhunter for IT jobs. Talk about torture. Like you're in a position where you're recruiting people to earn jobs for the jobs you want. So I spent a year doing that. I was driving from Youngstown to Pittsburgh every single day, and I was just absolutely miserable. I think my salary was like $24,000, and I was driving an hour to Pittsburgh each day. I think I was just using my salary just on gas. And Judy and I were close, and he kept coming down. He's like, "Man, I'm in this I've got in this mortgage industry. You got to try it out. Like, you can make like 10 grand. You can make like 10 grand a month." I'm like, No way, man. There's no chance.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, he starts coming with nicer clothes and a nicer car and all this stuff. I'm like, man, this might be legit. So he comes on, you got to try this. And I quit. took the leap of faith and went to work with him at the Mortgage Zone, and it was there.
It reminds me of the movie from the Wolf of Wall Street. If you show me a check for $27,000, I'll quit my job right now.
Yeah, it was that. And then, for a while I started making some decent
shoot.
money. My wife thought him and I were
Doing bad things.
stealing things off the
Trucks?
back of a truck. So we always have these like sales contests. Every Wednesday night was Wednesday night sales night. And they'd have like big screen TVs and all the way down to little clock radios. And it was all sales driven. You'd throw every sale, you'd throw your card in a hat, and I was winning stuff and always coming home with all this stuff. And she's like, "What in the heck are you guys doing? Like you're coming home with like all this technology,
TV,
right.
radio,
DVD
surround
players.
sound." I'm like living in this little crappy apartment and have all this like expensive stuff. So yeah, that's kind of how it happened, and it's all been good since there.
Yeah,
Some bad, but mostly
Yeah,
good.
some bad, but mostly good. Yeah. Yeah. So the company he's talking about, we started. It's called the Mortgage Zone. It's no longer around anymore.
Out in Beechwood.
Yeah, it was like 2003. You started too.
I started
End of
in
two?
June of 2002.
Yeah, so you were like,
with you.
yeah, I started in January, so you started like 6 months after.
Yeah.
So it took me about 6 months to convince him to do it with me. Yeah.
And it was, and we both we were split between two different teams there, and he ended up becoming a sales leader of the team he was in back in the pit, and I became a sales leader up in the front end, and then
They partnered us up at the end.
partners up at us at the end. We
We had the whole front of the office because I think you were like front right and I was front left.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it just kind of migrated from there, and we both kind of worked our way up through the ranks.
And how long was this run together?
That would have been right up until the crash, 2008.
Okay.
Yeah, so what happened
2007,
is and we'll get into it in a minute, but because I'm going to touch more about the Mortgage Zone.
Okay.
But we ran from the Mortgage Zone to another place. So we ran from literally to the crash. So from 2002 to the crash. But going back to the Mortgage Zone, what do you remember most about the industry at that point? And what trades you think carried over to as well?
Honestly, there was a lot of fun that was going on where it was definitely that mantra of work hard, play hard. And I think it fit naturally for him and I coming out of, college athletics where, college athletics is a heck of a lot of fun, but a heck of a lot of work. You're up at 6 a.m., running till you puke, and then go hitting the meal hall at 7:30 to grab some bacon and eggs, and then you're at class at 8 a.m. and then you're running up until 3, and then you're back at film until 3 or 2 to 3, and then practice from 3 to 5, and then film from 5 to 6, and then dinner. So it was so regimented, but you grinded. But then it was like you were hanging out with all your buddies, and it was fun.
Yep.
And that was that's why I think the Mortgage Zone was so rewarding for us, because we were working a ton of hours. You were calling all over the country, so you had to work a lot of late nights to hit the different time zones. But you worked and you hustled, but you got the reward from it too of making a good living. And
Yep.
I think that was the biggest thing there, that it was a natural transition for that grind, and learn and getting into it.
I would agree with you. I think that was the best fit. Like it was like the next step where I could still keep that football, hard work, hard fun mentality, party with my friends that I work with, and make it that camaraderie stuff. Yeah, I would agree with
Yeah,
that.
and it was all young guys, and young girls that were there.
I think the average age there was 28.
Wow.
The owner was 44, and he was a dinosaur. And I look back at him, I'm like, I'm older than that guy. He was so old to me, because we were all like in our early 20s. I think Todd and Bob were the oldest two people, and Bob was 28 and Todd was 26 at the time.
Yeah,
It was
they
like
were running
all-
the whole office, like the whole show at that point.
All the managers were in their 20s except for like two of them. Like everybody was in their 20s. And then you
Yeah,
had
that's
the old owner at 40.
That's an awesome environment to get into straight
yeah.
out the gate.
Yeah.
Now, in respect to your commentary on, how your athletic career in college helped prepare you and propel you through the front part of your career. I don't know that, on a national scale, non-athletes have an appreciation for how well a college athlete is prepared for that first career or that first stretch. Because when I look back at it, I didn't play sports in college. I really cut my teeth in my first job out of school.
Yeah.
I really developed the long hours you described.
Yeah.
But I find that that's pretty, I guess, eye-opening to me.
Yeah.
Just how well prepared an athlete is for that first job, for that first stage of their career. Has NIL changed your perspective at all in respect to how athletes are now being molded for that kind of first job because they're paid potentially so well?
Yeah, I couldn't imagine being a coach or an administrator trying to run an athletic department with NIL because there's no loyalty. There's no, I don't know how you build a culture, and culture is so important in the workplace, but it's even more important in, amongst your team. And to build a culture when there's people just in and out so quickly and they're just, you really can't tell their true motivation until they get there, and you got to pay them just to get them there, and then they could be a poison. I couldn't imagine it.
Turnover is new, and that's a hard thing to deal with in business.
Yeah.
And coaches never had to deal with that. Because if you wanted to leave back in our era, you had to sit out a year. So there was a huge penalty to your ability and your future if you left. So turnover just didn't happen. And so now coaches have to deal with turnover. And as we know in business, that's terrible. It's tough because you put all that effort into somebody, they do real well, and someone offers them, and it happens in our business so much. Someone offers them some fake numbers. Because what people do is they drive the margins down, show them what they could get. Here's how much better our pricing is, and then boom, pricing changes like 2 weeks after they start. And people do this all day long in our industry. It's a facade. It's what everybody does. It's like industry standard. Because I've of course, with recruitment and stuff, I've been on those calls, and they just do that. It's just what they do, and it's just industry standard to do that. And so that turnover for our industry, put all that effort into somebody, they go and get a fake offer, right, with some cash, and then they leave. But I've helped that person become what they have. I've been part of that journey. And then, of course, one of the things people are really good at is turning someone into a villain
Oh, yeah.
so that they feel better about being the villain,
Yeah.
right? And it's throughout history people do it. So it's not just that person. It's tons of people. Everybody does it. So that's what ends up happening. And you're like, oh, I didn't need that person. In all reality, that person was part of your career the whole time, right? And that happens all day long. And so now coaches got to do that. They get this guy all ready to play. They put a ton of effort in him, a ton of money into him. That dude becomes a superstar when he shouldn't have been. If he'd been anywhere else, he probably wouldn't have been a superstar. And then boom, he's like, all right, I got a bigger offer. I'm out. See ya, coach.
Yeah, and you see that so much too, like someone that's contributing at one organization that had a good culture and gave that student athlete a great base, and then they go somewhere else and fail. Now, there's obviously the flip side of it too, where they go and excel, but it seems to be you see the opposite happen
A lot more. Yeah, and it stinks, but it is part of life, and we have to deal with it. We've had to deal with it our whole career, and now coaches do. So that's a huge difference.
Your career seems different than plenty of others, but it seems as though COVID created the NIL kind of transfer portal in the workforce.
Yeah.
Because people were just bopping around, just getting that next little pay bump, not within the framework of the company they're working for, not necessarily based on their performance, but just based on this opportunity that always seemed to be showing up on the other side of another 6 months to a year of employment wherever they were at. That seems to be slowing, obviously, and maybe kind of going back to a more traditional flow as to what people need to do in order to climb the ladder.
Numbers are slowing.
Yeah.
A bit of the job hopping.
Yeah, that's true because COVID just makes it strictly no company culture. It's just about, okay, here's the payment you're getting.
Yep.
Here's the job you do. Can I get it for cheaper? Can I do less for more money?
Yeah.
And that's the next person I go to. And so, there's no commitment, no connection, so that makes it easy. But you're correct. That's huge. And that's exactly what's happening in college football. So that'd be tough.
Yeah.
It'd be super tough. And I agree. Yeah. The thing about us getting ready, though, is I was going to bring up, when my first semester out of football, because I had an extra semester, because they kind of, set you up to graduate in 5 years if you're redshirted.
Yeah.
My first, semester after, I was like, oh, my God. What do I do with all this free time? This is what I was missing. Oh, my God. This is amazing. I'm done at 11. I'm done at noon. I don't have to go to school on Friday. I don't got nothing to do. Because, you
I literally have 16
plow through.
hours.
I would plow through my classes and then line it all up. But the thing about it, I could be literally school from 8 in the morning till 2 and then be done.
Yeah, and only on like the Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Yeah.
You
Correct,
just
and you're
pile all
set.
your classes into like 2 days.
You guys don't realize, like, you guys would go out partying. We'd be out partying with you on Thursday, but at 6 in the morning, we had to go throw up in a garbage can because we were hungover doing power lifts,
Well,
explosion lifts.
Well,
You know what I mean?
in a lot of ways, the college setup just makes no sense.
No
For not-
sense.
Like
None at all.
None.
for an athlete, there's a lot on your plate. For a
Yeah.
non-athlete,
Oh, it's wild.
especially for people who aren't working.
Oh,
throughout
it's
college,
wild.
The amount of free time and the
Crazy.
it's the delay to really kind of becoming an adult or having real responsibility. And we've
It's
created
rumshunga for or whatever that word is for humans, for
Yeah.
normal people, for people that aren't Amish. It's just
Yes.
party time. It's
like a life
with a little bit of studying.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And I was like, wow, I don't know what I'm gonna do.
No,
It was wild. I didn't know what to do with myself. It
I
is
just
what it
definitely
is.
took a little bit of a dive that,
Yeah, for sure.
that semester.
You got it.
Made it through. Came out of it stronger. But,
Oh, awesome. So in 2005, Tim, what was it? October of 2005, we left and started up a mortgage company with
we were
Todd and a guy named Bob.
yeah, we were a net branch of Allstate.
Yeah, the company called not Allstate, the insurance company. They just played the name as a play on the name, but it was a pretty big company in the area, and we were a net branch of theirs. And the whole thing was that me and Ian would get the mortgage company, and they were going to build the call center out.
This is 2005. You're pretty young.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, so
I think we're like 28 at the time, right?
Yeah, I mean, just flying by the seat of our pants, man. Just like, let's see what we can do and build this. And it was exciting and terrifying at the same time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And it went really well at first, but the call center never took off because the whole goal was we were going to run the mortgage company. They were going to build this call center, and then they were going to just take the call center public. And me and Ian were going to keep the mortgage company. The mortgage company was just an initial system to help fund their call center growth. And then the call center never actually took off, so it ended up being everybody coming back to the mortgage company. And then, it didn't work out. We had like 200 employees in
Yeah, we got
2008.
up to pretty big. I mean, it was just that collapse. It crippled us.
Yeah, it was like 250 employees.
It was horrible. I mean, you'd have a full pipeline of borrowers and loans, and they'd all be at one company. Because you'd underwrite some, but then you'd ship them out to other places.
Yep.
But these loans, they're approved, and you think you're closing the next day, and then like, oh, sorry, we're shutting down.
Oh my.
And you'd have to
gosh.
move like 80 loans from one place, and you'd start them all over somewhere else, and then you'd have them all done, and then, oh, sorry, we're closing. We're not funding those loans.
Oh my god.
And it just slowly fell apart.
Dude, it was wild. It was probably the wildest thing. I got the short stick, so me and another guy named Dave had to go and fire basically everybody. So I drew the short stick. It was the worst. I was like 30 years old. So you think about it, I'm going to be 50. So I'm 49 right now. It's 2025, so it's 20 years ago was then. So that would have put me at 29 when we started, right? Because that's 20 years ago on the dot. Because October, we just ended October. So then I would have been 32.
Yeah, 32.
So I was 32, and I had to walk into a room with like 200 people and be like,
Yeah, but can't do this anymore.
Oh, it's brutal. Overwhelming.
So,
How did you two deal with that level of adversity, pressure? That is a ton.
oh, and it was chaos personally,
Yeah.
professionally. Like God, we had, in 2005, I built a house. I built our, at the time was our dream house on a golf course, and, everything was great.
we had
And-
great,
and beautiful houses.
great
and-
kilted with the bagpipe guys golf outings in his house. They were awesome.
Did you really?
Oh,
we'd
yeah.
every year
We
at
had
the
a
end of the
throwback
year, we'd
golf
have like a-
outing, everybody
yeah.
dressed in knickers, and you'd be about to tee off, and a piper would jump out of the weeds
bagpiper
and
would
start
jump
making
No
fun.
way.
No, he
It was
did. He
amazing.
paid a bagpiper. He would
And
follow
a
us around. There
bagpiper
was like
following us around. It
There was like 10 or 15 teams, or maybe 10, I think. And there's a guy just playing the bagpipes.
You should have known you were working towards a bubble at that point.
Well, yeah,
They were just paying some guy to play the bagpipes
bagpipes
on
right.
the golf
That's
it
right.
Was, it was fantastic.
in
But-
October, I think.
Yeah, but then ended up I lost that house.
me too.
Got it for. I mean, every bit of asset that you had that you built was depleted, and then went to a point, lost the house and had to start all over again with a young family.
I was like, I'm just going to keep Brent, and I'm going to keep Brent. And then I date this girl, and she's like, well, let's get a house. And I was like, I don't know if I want a house. I'm non-committal. I don't want to get a house. She's like, we need a house, because she had a kid. And I was like, oh, God, all right, I guess I'll buy a house. May 2007, I buy a house. Or March of 2007, I think. So literally like months before we get smoked. I'm like, oh, God, why did I do that? I should have kept renting. And then same thing. I would go to work every day. There's a real good guy I know named John. He worked with us. I lost my car at this point. So he would pick me up and take me to work, pick me up and take me to work for the first, couple months. And then I would just be like, all right, I just got to focus on making money. I got to focus on making money. I got to focus on making money. And every day I'd just be like, please don't be a sticker on the door that tells me I got to get out in 30 days. Please don't be a sticker.
Waiting for it
Please
to
don't be
happen.
a sticker. I ended up getting, starting doing well. So I ended up, my dad got me a free minivan from the county. It was awesome.
Green van.
It was Ford Blue. It was.
I thought
They
it
call
was
it. No, it was
green.
Ford.
There's
It's like
a logo
Ford
on the
Blue is like
side
a
where
green
the
blue. They
patch
call
was
it
off.
Polish blue or green blue.
This is really incredible. Like two different lives.
Oh, instantly.
different lives.
Like that quick.
I mean, you've talked about this, Matt, but having you two in the room and this being a shared experience, to know that you were you just were
Paying
climbing.
a bagpiper to play.
You're just climbing. You're just climbing. You're rolling, and all of
you
a
think
sudden,
you're so big, yeah.
You're snapped back to worse off than what I was describing in college. This was no break. This is
yeah,
a
it was
massive
crazy.
hole you're digging out of.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it was rough. And so then no car. I rented one of those pods and put it in the driveway, and I just filled it up with stuff throughout the day. HOA's like, you got to get that pod out of there. And in my head, I'm like, what are you going to foreclose on me? Kick me out? It's too late. So I just left. I filled the pod up with everything except for the essentials, like a TV, a bed, and a couch. And then eventually just waited for it to happen. And then, yeah. So then I had a real good friend named Andy that let me move in with him. I put the pod in storage. And then my buddy here needed to get someone to take up the lease on his Cadillac because he had started making money again too, so he was able to get a car, and so I ended up taking over his car, and then you took your dad's truck.
Yep.
And so then we just built, built out of it again.
Rebuilt it all.
Yeah.
But that was but we had separated at that point.
Yep.
And
You were
franchise. We inevitably we ended up back at the same company, but under different. I was working under one branch of this guy, and it was on the third floor of the building. I was on the fourth floor of the building,
floor,
and then
on the
him and
third.
Todd were another branch
On
of
the
same
third floor.
company on the third floor. So we were still kind of tied together, like working at the same company, but we had split where we weren't working just on a day-to-day together. And
Yeah, so then me and Todd ended up leaving there. Because we were still trying to drag what was left, the 5 people, through the finish line. Because I started just originating. I was like, if I focus on my bills and all that other stuff, I'll never get out of this.
Yeah.
So I just was like, I'm going to focus 100% on originating. So I just started originating. And I was killing it. They owed me like $45,000. He was part of it too because he was at another company. And then the company that was just not doing well that we were part of. And we made an offer to buy it with the investors. And they were like, all right, cool, but then the one owner wouldn't allow us to buy without paying off his personal debt. And we're like, no. The investor said no. And so we walked away from it. They filed bankruptcy. They owed you money. They owed me like 40-some thousand. Because me and him have always been close. So we were sharing loans. He was at another company and I was at this company.
we were doing whatever we could. Like I was peddling data for mail and stuff like that. So I had sold them data, and it was
They owed him like money. They
yeah.
owed me money. The company fell apart though. So then we ended up. I said, Todd, I'm out. I can't work with these investors no more. I'm just out. I'm going to this company, and so we went. And then lo and behold, like literally, like after I was over there, you ended up over there too.
Yeah.
Not relatively within the next year.
Yeah, it
Wow.
was like 2010,
Yeah.
somewhere in 2009, right
Yep.
there, like after we kind of gotten through it all.
Yeah, and then we just started building again, like all over from like 4 people, and then we ended up probably another. Then he was upstairs with them, and then you went to Medina.
Yeah,
right?
so I left, I got out from underneath that branch manager and started my own branch. And so I was, they had a branch, we had a branch, and then, Yeah, then I got out of that branch. Like he had called me.
We bought
day.
him.
Yeah, he bought me out.
We bought him.
He bought me out, and I
Bought
I
Ian.
went back
It's not a
and
joke.
worked
I
with
bought him. I bought him. I literally bought my best friend. One of my best friends. I don't want to hurt your feelings because you're
Yeah,
my
no,
best friend.
I appreciate that. It's a sensitive
I have a lot of
topic.
best friends, but so long story short, he's in Medina, and we're doing really well on the first floor now of that same company, and we needed him, and so the other branch manager, we structured a deal. We gave him money. We gave that guy money to come to us, to come work with us.
Yeah.
So we paid him and bought Ian from him, and. I was like, yeah, it's the best money I ever spent. I love this guy. And so then he came over, and then we started working together again. Yeah, and so then we built that thing up. And, there's a lot of people that work here now that worked with us there.
Yeah.
Josh behind the camera back there. Hey, Josh. He was there.
I know, we were talking about that before.
Yeah, he was there. That's where he started as a kid. And then
but that place they closed that place down.
yeah, we grew up that thing to like
Yeah, there was
150 people, I think. We were doing real big numbers there, like big numbers there, doing really well. And then they had to run to a bank. Then we ran to this bank. We were part of this bank. We grew that. We started doing real well there. And then
Turned out the bank was the president of the bank was basically laundering money, and the FDIC.
we won't say
came
the
in.
name of these places, but
Yeah,
it
the
sounds like
FDIC
they got
came in
busted
and-
by the FDIC.
Yeah, and they shut them down. So it was just again another
Mad scramble.
another day of like
Figure it
all of
out.
a sudden the chief compliance officer and a couple other people come in and they meet with each of us individually and it's like, here's your severance. And it's like, I think we all got like a 3-month severance.
It was like 3 or 4
3 or
months.
4
of
months.
salary, yeah.
And they're like, so we spent a lot of days at Todd's pool after that. I'm like,
We partied for like, we drank for like 2 months. We're like, oh, we gotta get something figured out.
Okay, we gotta do something.
We gotta do something. And we were gonna do this one thing, but Ian found a really good opportunity. We talked about it. I was like, dude, take it. It's really great for you. I like it. And so he went and took that opportunity, which was awesome. And that you went to that place.
Yeah.
And then we went to another place, another bank. You went to a bank, we went to a bank. And then we just separated and started doing our own thing.
Yeah.
And then he worked at another company before that. So that's kind of the path it took. And then
Yeah, it's been very intertwined.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
we've always stayed close. We always share industry stuff because, you get people like us around. It's good to be able to talk to somebody that's, you're able to, that thinks like you, to be able to reference for ideas or, hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? So I call him all the time. We work all the time together on stuff. So even though we work at different companies and have for a while, it's just that we still use each other to help each other out. So your climb through leadership, from branch manager to ops director and now COO, like what do you think you've learned through each one of those stages? What do you think each one of those stages taught you?
I mean, honestly, in thinking about that, it's in all of those positions, you're kind of dealing with a separate piece of the origination process.
Yep.
So having that exposure and those hands-on different pieces of the whole manufacturing process of a loan, it helps you to kind of see the bigger, picture of everything. So I think that's the biggest piece is, and through that I've done most of the positions, and if I haven't done them, I've directly overseen them where I'm a very servant style leader. Like that's like kind of my mantra on like how I want to lead a business. I want people to experience wins, and I want to get them those wins, right? So I don't want to be that person that's, hey, go do this. It's no, I see there's something that needs done on your file. I'll jump in and help and do it, so that I learn and I know the pitfalls of getting the job done, and then I also get them that win and help them out with it. So it's helped me a lot of knowing and being a part of all those different positions to be able to oversee them all now.
Your description of your like leadership style reminds me of something my wife just shared with me last night, and that is there's I think a pretty popular, maybe a motivational speaker, but also someone who's leveraged bigger corporations to motivate and guide leaders. And she described what is this kind of jar of marbles kind of ideology behind leadership, and that what fills a jar up with marbles, which is your employees trust in you as a leader is the little things you do to earn that.
Yeah.
And then, gosh, in your business, the amount of times things have really hit the fan and you need people to buy in immediately or follow your lead, you've earned that by way of, one, having a grip on all of it, stepping in to help where people need a little push to get over the finish line. Very timely. This was last night.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. I mean, the thing about him is me and him always were students of the business, so we've always tried to get better at learning. Early in my career, I wasn't as nice when people had questions. So the great thing about working with Ian is we had the same knowledge level. Sometimes Ian was smarter than I am in situations, and
him.
we were able to. He at least had someone they can go to questions for. Because early in my career, I was very difficult. You know what I mean? So I'd be like, "Listen, dude, stop asking me questions. I don't have time for you." Like, where Ian would always be that servant leader, which was awesome for the company, and that's why he's been so successful. Is because he was able to. He's very helpful, and he does it. He stays real even keel. I've only seen him come off kilter a couple times. And so no matter what, even if it's like an obvious answer that someone should be able to find, where in my older days I would be like, "Are you kidding me?" Where he'll still answer it. So that was really awesome to be able to work with him in that stuff too.
I've just never seen myself as that visionary speaker or that person that can stand up in front of a room and just hypnotize you to like, oh my God, like I'm just gonna run through a wall for that person. So I mean, Matt knows I get into those situations. There's sweat rolling off my face, you know, and like I just don't. I sit and stress about those situations before going into them. So like I've just never seen that myself as that person. So like I've just always known that I've just got to get in and work in the trenches with them and earn that through that respect versus me going in and just standing in front of a giant room and you know like go.
Yeah.
And that's how I've been able to.
And there's different types of leaderships that work, but he's really good at legitimately being super helpful and helping people to drive their business. So he's literally one of those core leaders that increases production. You know what I mean? And helps people to get better at their jobs through helping them. So it's good to see him do that stuff.
I feel like I need to hold your hand.
Yeah, I know. That was beautiful.
I know.
No, I mean,
It's good. It's all true. And so like one of the things that Ian's like amazing at is tech. Like that's one of his standout points. He's super into like all the new tech coming into the stuff. And
so you did use your college degree.
I did. That's what's the most amazing part of all of it is after all these years, I ended up back into what my passion was.
Ian's always been a step ahead on that, so I've always referenced him in those things. Like he was a Encompass admin first, and then when I had to be the Encompass admin, I called him and I was like, I just need a crash course. Show me the buttons. Let me go in here and break it, but you need to show me where to go. And it was awesome. It was very helpful for me. But he was always one step ahead on that tech side of things. So he was always a new implementer of different systems. So that leads to the next question is, your previous employer, you had a lot of stuff you implemented. Especially here now too, but at your previous employer, what do you think the biggest thing you implemented systems-wise that changed the outcome in a positive manner?
You know what? Honestly, so the prior employer when I first started they were just 100% retail, and it was just boots on the street, going out farming for referrals, and from the background of Matt and I had, we were all consumer direct, which is call center, where you're just buying leads and having outbound calls and having everybody kind of in an office versus out on the street. And initially, the owner was very resistant to that, but after coercion and like telling him, like, listen, we can do this, convinced them to let me have a shot at it. And he gave me a limited budget and said, here, go ahead and try it. And we hired 2 people, and I started off with CRM to manage everything, just a real rudimentary piece of junk. But I got to start and build from that, and that was what I think elevated that company to the next level. Because at the time I left, it was primarily consumer direct. It was a small percentage of it was retail, and a much larger percentage of it was consumer direct. So I think that's what really moved the needle for that organization.
Yeah, I remember when you did that. It was pretty cool.
It was fun, and it's just so fun. Like it's fun to build it. Like it's just fun to like go in and figure out. And
we played for Coach Tressel, and you know what he taught us? If it ain't broke, break it.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so it's the opposite if you know what I mean? if it ain't broke,
Fix
don't
it.
don't break it.
Yeah.
Right? Well,
Something
it's
like
the
that.
opposite. So basically, his weighing was saying it don't matter if you're winning or not. You still got to break it and change things. And so that was one of the things that I know I have, I'm obvious you have, but taken away from that is no matter how good you're doing, you could get better.
Yeah, it reminds me of like this thing. I don't even remember where I was listening to it the other day, but it was like, man, it really struck with me. It was, they call it the IKEA effect. I don't know
Yeah.
if you've ever heard of that.
Yep.
But the IKEA effect is, IKEA, the whole thing is you buy something and you put it together, right? Like it comes in a box and you put it together. But you get so enthralled in that thing and you are personally attached to it, that you build it and you put it together, that it's sometimes hard to let it go. And that's something that I was like, man, that really struck with me. And that's kind of hard with something that I battle with internally is we put so much time into building something and building a system that it's my baby. And I have to break myself away from that of like, no, I need to break that thing. Like I need to get rid of that so that we can, fix it and move forward. And it goes back to Tress. And
Yeah, if you ain't getting better, you're getting worse.
Yeah.
Those are the other things you said.
Yeah.
It's all good
I
stuff.
like it.
Yeah, for sure. So then, of course, now you've launched your own company now, which is awesome.
Yeah.
What made you want to launch your own company after being, in this industry because I know what made me want to do it, but what made you do it?
Honestly, it was me having a gut or knowing that I know, like, you have to have some sort, like, there's got to be some level of confidence, right? If you're like, you're doing things right. Like, deep down, you're like, I'm passionate about this. I know this will work. And I give all the credit in the world to, all my past experiences and the leaders that were around me and the business owners that were around me that, that got me to where I was in the industry. But at some point, you get sick of asking for permission. And it's like, man, let me do this. I'm telling you, this is going to work. And and then by the time that you convince them, you're 6 months behind everybody else, and that's what pained me is like, man, if I could, looking back in retrospect, I was like, man, if I would have been able to get that, if I would have been able to do that when I wanted to do it, we would have been that much further ahead than where we are now. And that's what drove me to do it.
Yep, that's the same reason for me. It's because it's just like you want to do things, and it's just like you've got to wait for someone to give you permission.
Yeah,
it's tough. But that's awesome. So at Green Lending, what do you think makes you guys different? And then what are you proud of the most of what you've done so far?
Different wise, it's hard. A lender's a lender. Every lender's going to stand up and we got this loan product, or we have we manufacture loans this way, but in all sense of the word, we all follow the same set of guidelines. We all have access to the same sets of programs. So, I'm not gonna tout that Green Lending is like
realtors. Do you hear that?
It's
please stop. Please stop choosing your loan officers by how good they can dance on social media.
Yeah, exactly.
Please listen. If you chose your doctor, like you choose your loan officers you partner with, there'd be a crap ton of deaths in this world, all in the realtor space, because you don't choose your doctor by how good he can dance on social media. Please choose your loan officers by experience and knowledge. Thank you.
And that's it. That's it. That's the thing that I think we're all going to do the same, but
it's all the same
people,
stuff. It really is. It's who knows what they're doing. It's literally the same rules.
Yeah.
It's here's the rules. Here's what you need to play within. Do you know the rules? Mm-hmm. And the issue is like 80% of the people in our industry don't know the rules.
And don't spend the time to educate themselves.
Care less. It's wild. Like if loan officers were doctors, malpractice insurance would be 100 times more expensive because there'd be a lot of issues in surgery. And the thing is it's finance. A good loan officer isn't how good he can market himself. A good loan officer is how good he can figure out what's the best loan for the client and then deliver that loan with a stress-free, easy process. But if you don't know, hey, this guy got this or this is that, if you don't know how to take, I know people that don't know how to take an application that get loans. An application, just like literally asking the right questions. And that's the issue in our industry is like, it's wild. And it really makes us look bad. Yeah. And it's tough. We've been dealing with it the entire time. But the truth is, in our industry, it's the loudest, the squeakiest wheel gets the grease, not the best.
Marketing.
So,
And this is what we know about a squeaky wheel. It's broke,
Yeah.
Yeah.
something wrong.
Ah.
Yeah.
right?
It's broke. Yep. Needs some fixing.
So it's the only one that gets the grease. Screw the ones that are really good at their job and don't squeak, right? And that's the issue in our industry. But that's my little PSA. But yeah, so as your company, you've implemented some crazy stuff because I've talked to you about it.
Yeah,
with
we've been
the
having
new
some fun
stuff.
with it. Like,
Yeah, so if you can go into some of the stuff that you've been really, you've been really in the forefront implementing, because a lot of the stuff you implemented, we're just starting to implement it, and we're a huge company, and you guys are, are implementing stuff well in advance of what we are. So it's cool to see.
I
that.
think that's one of the benefits that we have of being small and nimble and not being this giant ship that we have to steer. That we can try a lot of things. What is it? Is it Maxwell that says try a lot of things?
I think so.
Or
Yeah.
is it Collins? I don't know. But so try a bunch of things and see what works. And so we've been really again. This is another internal turmoil for me is AI, and I'm just really pushing hard to get AI up and running within our organization. And honestly, I'm always fearful that I'm behind the curve because there are some really big entities out there with a lot of manpower and a lot of money that are implementing these things at a much faster clip than what we can.
Yep.
But one thing that we've really there's two pieces that we've implemented that I'm really proud of. The first is AI coaching for our salespeople. So every call that is over 3 minutes long immediately is uploaded into an AI bot, and that AI bot is listening and coaching and coming up with a performance metric on that call. And it's how was your tonality? How did you handle these objections versus like when someone said that they had poor credit score or that they wanted their credit pulled. And it also comes up with like confidence scores on how well you did and how the borrower's confidence level and the borrower's hesitation level. It comes up with all the scoring modules. And we, within 5 minutes of the call ending, our salespeople can go in and click a little button and see an analysis on their call and get immediate feedback on how that call went. So that's really cool. And then on the underwriting side of it, as soon as a loan gets pushed into a process, there's another AI bot that kicks in. And I'm not writing this AI, guys. Like, these are third-party services that we're
Yeah, but you have the
using.
intelligence to vet them correctly.
But we vet them, and can get them in there and pick which one, because this is the newest trend, right? AI. Everybody, I got an AI that do that. I can do that. I can do this. You got to make sure that it's the right one. And
Just so we're clear, AI just summarizes data. It doesn't think yet.
Yeah.
And that's where the bubble's going to pop, I think, is if they don't get it to think fast enough. Because it really doesn't think.
No, it
just takes the information you get it and summarizes it. And gives you a response.
Anybody with computer language background, it's if this, then that. That's all it is. If then. If then, do this, do that. So it's just really fast at analyzing it. A hell of a
Good
lot
and
faster
fast,
than-
yep.
But on the underwriting side, we now have this piece that is, as soon as a loan goes into a process, it's integrated within our loan origination software that it's looking at every single document and analyzing it and seeing if there was something missed. And then it's also coming up with a needs list, again, for our salespeople so that they can put better quality files together before it hits the underwriting process. So that helps the salesperson so that they're more confidently selling the loan, that this is I can do this because it's cross-checking against guidelines, but then it helps out the operations staff. Also, because then it's a cleaner file that's going in there so that you can shrink the amount of time that it takes from a loan put in process to you get that loan final approved. So we have some good partners on that, and
They're awesome.
It's
Those ones work really nice.
seeing that progress is really cool and fun.
And I think some of the things people are scared of is if they make a commitment now and something bigger comes out. And that's where people are holding off for, and you just can't wait. You're just going to get ran by.
Yeah, it's the learning curve it's insane how fast the
And
things are coming up.
I want to address an everyday person fear, and that is that the AI bot who's a coach becomes a player coach, becomes that salesperson.
Yeah.
Because that would seem like that's what it's tracking.
That would be a real fear of the possibility that could come. I just don't know that it's possible. Realistically, there's just so yeah. It could potentially be there.
That's going
I
to be
know
the
that's
bubble pop
something-
if it doesn't come soon enough.
Yeah.
If that doesn't happen by the end of 26, or in 26, you're going to see confidence levels drop drastically on AI, and that's where the companies are going to lose momentum in the market. That's my opinion, because it doesn't have that ability yet. The one that I don't think the data power is there. I mean, I know they're trying to put those huge places. I know the IX Center is going to become one, and they're supposed to do some crazy stuff there. Yeah, that's a whole nother thing we won't talk about here. But, yeah, that's what it's for. It's going to be a data center for Amazon. Not because Amazon also has cloud-based servers, and
The IX Center.
Yeah, the IX
No
Center.
longer going to host the golf show for me every year.
Correct. It's going to host the actual Amazon data bank center.
Where am I getting my bargain hybrid?
Anyway,
that
let's do it.
I promised me I'll hit it straight, and it still slices it in the woods.
Were you gonna pay an extra $50 for a used club? That's the hardest part people don't realize. They rewrap those. They clean them and shrink wrap them.
Yeah.
It's like when you buy the balls, that half of them maybe Titleist, half of them maybe just painted as a Titleist.
That's right.
ball. You know what I mean?
That's right. Going back to the everyday this is why I don't want AI to show up. It's getting rid of the golf show.
Yes, correct. So one that, and then there's just too much of a delay in its speaking because it doesn't have that power yet. And my buddy uses AI to actually handle some of these calls, and as soon as he says you should hear some of these calls, people go off on it. As soon as they know it's AI, they go off on it.
We've been exploring that, and we haven't pulled the trigger yet on it.
It's tough.
And I'm just looking at it so we have a lot of people call in, and they'll call in after hours and just handle those calls of like a receptionist, of to be able to like, okay, have a conversation with them of like, okay, what were you attempting to do? Instead of having to leave a voicemail, what were you attempting to do? What's a good time for us to call you back? And then set that appointment, and then it actually call on that time, and then transfer the person into us. And it's still real clunky that we're trying to get through that to again improve that borrower experience.
The more and more I explore it, the further and further away it seems.
Interesting.
So if you'd asked me maybe 3-4 months ago, I'd be a little bit more excited than I am today about it. So I think that it's going to take a little bit longer of a timeline for it in being 5 years instead of 2, for it to actually be able to do actions as a human, that a human can do.
And is the adoption piece also a component to your equation, your timeline?
Yeah, just so much anger people have towards it.
Yeah, like
So you see what they do to those poor little robots that rolling around Texas that carry and deliver food. They kick it over, they throw it in the street. Like it's just people don't like it. And so the more and more I do research on it, my opinions change. I, on the other hand, would adopt it yesterday.
Yep.
I'm a super adopter of this stuff, but I'm not normal. And so it seems to be the consensus is shoot the robot, don't use the robot. Like we in the chat that your cousin threw at us. I ought to buy that bot right now.
Yeah, I know, that was funny.
That robot would be in my house.
Yeah,
Some people would be like, if I see that thing, I'll shoot it with my shotgun. And that seems to be the majority of Americans. So I agree. Yeah,
it is a little freaky, the whole idea of iRobot coming to life. It's a great movie.
That is a fantastic movie.
It's a great movie.
They
And
know
we're
this-
here. They
You
got these
can't-
robots.
That's
moving
what's
how are you
around.
gonna
amazing.
stop
If you
it?
could think of like a couple years ago, even like where we're at now, you couldn't fathom it.
Yeah, it is amazing.
You can't stop it. You don't have unless everybody in the world throws a fit. If you think you could stop it, you're overestimating how much effort people want to put other than the minimal effort in the world. To stop it, you have to have like almost a civil war. You know what I mean? You can't stop it. So why wouldn't you embrace it? Because unless everybody's going to pull up arms, like everybody that complains, like unless you're going to all go and vote one way or all going to stop paying taxes, as a whole, you're going to do something. And then you got China. How are you going to stop them? If we stop, they ain't stopping.
Yeah, that's why it won't stop.
Yeah.
Can't stop, won't stop.
You can't. So it's over. So it's either going to end up great or it's going to end up really bad, and there ain't no way for you to stop it. So let's
might as
just
well be in the front
let's
of it.
pray every day it's going to end up good, and just ride it and get it and embrace it. And that's how I look at it. But what am I? I'm just one person. But yeah. So yeah, I know you do a ton of tech, which is super cool. How do you think that helps with your client experience? I know that a lot of that tech does help with the client experience drastically.
Yeah. The big hurdle I see with all of it is just the regulation side of it. Because I think we could be much further on the client experience if it weren't for so much regulation on the mortgage industry. There's so much fear and we were just talking about fear with AI. There's so much fear of just automated messaging. I mean, today's demographic of kid, like, they don't want to talk to you on the phone. They want to be able to communicate with you
That's true.
entirely electronically.
Talked about that previously.
But there's so much regulation that, like the TCPA Act, like there's so much regulation that says you can't do this, and you've got to go through all these checks and balances just to be able to communicate, that half of, the large majority of the industry and most industries are fearful to even adopt these technologies because they're like, oh my gosh.
Because of liability.
But the thing about it, like,
Yeah.
we're the worst. Like, I've just had this conversation, so it's great you brought this up, and we didn't talk about this previously. My biggest thing is the same thing as his. The reason we're so far behind in the mortgage industry and so many other companies are so far ahead is because of compliance. It's ridiculous. Did you know that AI can't make a decision on a loan? It can only give information, because to be a processor or to be an underwriter, you have to be a human and you have to be licensed. And it's not a human, so it can't be. It has to be licensed. So legally, because of compliance. And I don't think whoever makes these compliance issues up realize how bad some of these people that are making the
Right.
decisions
True.
are at it. AI is better than 95% of the people in our industry. Now, there's a 5%ers that are killers, and they're amazing. But in most cases, AI is really good comparatively. And you still can't use it because it can't make a decision compliantly. So it's crazy. And I agree with you. And same thing with TCPA. It's crazy. You can't make outbound calls because it's a robodialer. So it can't make, and that's gonna be the toughest thing with our industry, is the adoption of it because of compliance. So they're gonna have to drastically change compliance laws, or we're gonna be even further behind. It's wild.
And it would be so much better of a user experience if I could automate just the information flow of how I let you know the status of your file and alert all the different parties. If you could use it to be able to just alert and make phone calls to all the parties on the transaction, then everybody feels better about the transaction. It brings the stress levels down of everyone, because the purchase transaction is just one of the most stressful
crazy.
things of any person's life, and it's on realtors, the title companies, the inspectors, just all the people that are involved with it. And for me to be able to just, hey, send a message out to someone, the consent that you have to get, and then the fear of just the regulation that could come down if you do it incorrectly, it just slows the process down.
And back to my TED talk earlier about loan officers, the reason it is because of they're literally doing no evaluation in some cases before they tell a buyer to borrow a house. I mean, I've had people that work for me that literally just pulled their credit and sent them a pre-approval letter. And I caught them and I was like, my man, this ain't how it goes down.
Yeah.
Like, it's some of these people, I'm telling you, in this industry, if they knew if you literally worked on this side of the business, you would be like, oh God, we need to implement AI to make this a better process, because these people, I mean, they just don't have the level of ability that it does. But it's a huge issue, and I agree. And it would make the client experience so much better. 100% better. But again, it's the same thing. Can't have them call out. Can't have them talk to people. Can't have it make decisions. Yeah, it's wild. Once we're able to adopt it, though, I think it'll change. Because just like you said, there's tons of people. There's statistics out about how many, but there's a ton of people today that try to get purchase ready and don't want to talk to anybody.
Yeah, they have no interest in talking to that person, because there is a level of trust that has been broken there, because they hear. I mean, it's on the realtor side too. Like, they have a distrust in some originators and some lenders. So it makes the. You talk about that void and that restriction into home ownership. Well, some of that is fear and just of the unknown. And am I going to get good information? And am I going to waste money on an appraisal, or waste money on this, or get it in over my head? Or am I actually able to afford this? And a lot of this could be prevented through, I think, those checks and balances.
Avoidance causes the issues too by the client. So the client is so nervous about calling a loan officer because they're just going to pound them with a phone call every 6 minutes. And really, they're scared that they're going to try and sell them. And so some of previous experiences have then pushed onto these clients where they're like, I don't want to call a loan officer. They're the very last person I want to talk to. And we should be the very first. They should be talking to us 6 months
love to talk to
before.
us.
Right. And so with AI, if they can do it all themselves up front, they would be completely ready to go when they go to buy a house. Instead,
then-
it's,
and then the
hey, Matt,
human-
I got a
And then the
client.
human comes in
That's what I was
to,
gonna
to,
ask.
to finalize
got
everything.
it.
But
You got
to
it.
prep them and get them to a confidence level that they feel like, okay, I can do this, and I'm not going in blind, and I'm not going to be manipulated into doing something that I shouldn't have. I can spend the time and do the research and get good quality answers.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because you can go search, what's FHA guidelines, and you get the HUD handbook 4000.1, and it's 2,200 pages.
Yeah.
Like, but an AI feature to be able to go in and you can query it, and if you could use it with confidence, I think it help people go a long way.
People
Yeah.
get steered into loans because that's all that loan officer knows. There's veterans that should be in a VA loan and they're in an FHA loan.
I believe that. That's every industry
Your
where there's
industry?
multiple. My
Yeah.
industry is an
Yeah, I'm
obvious
sure
one.
on the financial advising side of things too. Like,
Oh yeah, people have default recommendations. It's what they know.
yeah,
And in fact, in my business, perhaps similar to some companies in your space, you're groomed to sell certain products so that you have a very narrow knowledge base and focus. You can spend your time selling. So in turn, you're really doing that end user a disservice.
100%. 100%. And that's the issue is that with this, they can get 100% ready up front, and then they can come to a human. The hard part is now, and I don't mind it. I don't do anything anymore, so I'll take a call on a Saturday night or a Sunday night,
You and
Sunday
me both.
day. I mean,
My
I was
kids
at
are out of the house.
I was
Yours
at my
aren't,
kid's
but-
birthday party, and I still got a pre-approval out, right? So it's not like, and I'm not complaining about, but it stinks for the borrower's experience, and that's where the problem is. Because if you call me on a Saturday and say I want to make an offer on a house tonight, right? So then I got to get someone involved to get that offer and put that loan put together, and now we get it out to you. But that's like 4 hours you got to make an offer.
Yeah.
And now the amount of thought and process and planning that goes into it is 4 hours worth
Yeah.
instead of 6 months worth. So I don't matter how good you are, if you give someone that's same level, top level, the best person in the country, 6 months or 4 hours, they're going to come up with a better plan in 6 months. And so that's the biggest difference is those plans get shrunk down to 4 hours. And it's no one's fault other than the client is so afraid to talk to somebody that causes them to stay away because of previous experiences and what we talked about with bad loan officers and bad systems. So if this could be implemented, it would drastically change everybody's experience, client experience especially. Yeah.
because that's what I mean. Deep down, I think we're all interested in that client experience. You know, I mean, yeah, we can make money at this position, at this job, in this profession, but I mean, deep down, you know that client experience is the number one piece.
Yep.
And everything else, if you can master that, then everything else falls in line.
I think that there's some people that care about that. I know people that only care about themselves, but in caring though, if
yes.
you truly care about the client, your business will excel. And that's truly that I try to tell you by here. I know you try to tell your people that if you guys care and listen, you'll be successful. We've always pitched that to the people that we've worked with. Just care. Because that's another human on the other end. So when you screw up their income or you screw up their W-2s, we're not frustrated because you screwed up. I just know on the other end, you got someone that got into contract and is going to cry for hours when their loan gets denied.
Somebody's
cry,
aunt,
days,
somebody's mom, somebody's
months.
cousin. Like it's
So that inability of
heartbreaking.
you to do your job correctly, so be it. If this was like putting together toys, okay, we have a broken toy, throw it away, start over. I lost $50, so what? But the issue is the person. Like, and people don't realize that. So when you don't study your job, the issue is the person. I use medical because it's actually the only other one where you would have even worse circumstances if you're bad at your job.
Yeah.
So I always use that and reflect that, one, because of my brother, but two, because, this is pretty bad if they don't get that home or if they lose out. Of course, medical, you die. And so I use that one because it's as an example, because it's even worse of an outcome if you're bad at your job. But for us, is if you're bad at your job, it's bad for that person. You ruin that person's experience, life. Like, it's huge. And so, like, client experience, me and him we could talk for hours about this, because if you can implement that, it would drastically change this industry and make it easier for clients.
Yeah.
So, and I know that they're saying we're doing it to protect the client. Yeah, but you're actually hurting the client, because most people aren't going to use it for bad stuff. You know what I mean? Now, if someone calls them with an AI bot 6 times a day, well, then that person should be taken care of. They should be levied. They should be, implemented for an issue. But if you're calling them once a day or following up with them via some digital form of communication to help them move and give them an out, so be it. As long as when they put the, hey, stop, hey, don't call me anymore, hey, take me off your list, you automatically remove them, then it should be done that way.
Yep.
Yeah. So state of the market, that leads us to the next part, because this is right now. As we know, we've been through some crazy times, and I always say the last one was like a stab to the belly.
Yeah.
This one was like a slow bleed. Like it's like consistent.
been a
It's been a rough 4 years.
I can't believe it's been that long, but it has been 4 years.
Yeah. So this one has been a lot rougher, because if you drive rates that low, you're gonna people are just gonna make decisions off their payments. You know, the market, they were just way too low. I mean, we benefited from it, but
Yeah, it was a couple good years, but it wasn't worth.
it wasn't worth the 5 years of just,
afterwards.
it's gonna
The
be 5
aftermath
years
it's been caused,
basically. Yeah.
and it's just so volatile now. I mean, I'm actually fearful a little to some extent of, you know, do they drop rates too fast?
Yep.
I think I saw you were with maybe a realtor or someone.
Yep, Christine. She's awesome.
And, you know, asking about the market. And I like you were like, I hate this question because I hate it also.
I hate it. I was
because-
like, if I knew I wouldn't be a mortgage
yeah,
agent.
I'd be selling bonds.
Well, you know as much as
Yeah.
I do how much more money is if you're a good trader like
Yeah,
that.
no, it's true.
You'd be $100 million a year guy,
Yeah.
right?
But
So
I'm just fearful of, you know, another race on if they drop the rates too low, it becomes we're now we're very close to an equal seller versus buyer market. You know, you have some that are still a seller's market. You have some areas, a lot down south where it's become more of a buyer's market. But if you have, I mean, if we see rates, you know, that Freddie average offer rate drop down into the low fives, high fours, I think you're going to see a lot of people that weren't in the housing market or like in the market for a house, they're going to join that market, and you're going to have another push on values. You're going to have another increase. You're going to make home affordability even worse. So that's my concern over it. I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's still going to. I think 2026 is probably going to be pretty similar to 2025. I think, you know, maybe we're in the 6.5s. We'll be in the 5.75s, and it'll stabilize. But I worry if they go too aggressive, that it could cause us, you know, to go into another dive. And
5.25 is my number. Hits 5.25, market frenzy. People will move from those 2.875s, 3.25s. In fact, when you do like the math on the numbers, it seems to be that 5.25 is the moving point. Once it hits 5.25 or gets below that, you'll see people willing to move out of those homes and buy that next one, which will drastically change the market. The only fear that I have about the market is that, of course, and then it's not relatively soon, but, you know, 8 to 10 years, you're going to have all of these people that are going to pass on because of being old. You know, you got that whole baby boomer group. And if they build too many homes over the next 5 to 10 years, too much new home construction because they can't find homes,
and don't plan for the vacancy.
and then there's going to be a huge vacancy issue, which drastically collapses values, because that's what happened in in 08. Is that now? Do I see that happening as it sits now? No, but if there isn't some movement in the market where there's more availability, either everybody's going to have to become a renter, or you're going to see a pretty strong, heavy move towards people building homes. I know that I see it in my face all day in Columbia Station. Is that nationwide? No. So I don't think it's an issue yet. But in Columbia Station, I mean, basically that town went from a small town to a big town.
Yeah.
They put easily close to 1,000 homes in that city in, the last 3-4 years. Now, if that happens nationwide, we got issues in 10 years.
The other piece that's a little bit that kind of looms on me, and not to get into anywhere near political, but the current administration very into deregulation, and that we know the CFPB is really not acting. There's not a lot going on there right now. I'm concerned with if there is a change in political mindset the next election, the overcorrection of that compliance of like, okay, we completely just got rid of the CFPB. Does it go into overdrive and just make it even more difficult to lend and make it that much more difficult for those underserved to get in to the housing market because of just compliance, and it pushes the cost to originate up even more, which which then rates get higher, and it makes home ownership even more difficult. That's something that I'm hoping there isn't an overcorrection there like there was in 2008 with regulation of, like, we have so much regulation over loan programs that don't even exist anymore.
Yeah, it's ridiculous how
We do
much-
continuing education every single year, and there's usually 2 to 3 hours of it where you're talking about pay option arms that the loan hasn't existed since 2005, but we have to do relentless education on it now.
There's a new one back though.
There is.
Yeah. It's not.
But
It's
not to that extent,
It's like
but-
a. It's like a. We offer it. It's an equity line, and it's for people over 62, and they can choose between. It's like a. It's not a reverse because they have a payment.
Yeah.
But the negative amount goes onto the balance, and they get a choice between a 5, 4, 3, 2, or 1 interest rate, and then.
But
you gotta have a ton of equity.
Wrong.
No, they have to have a ton of equity. We were doing pay up
Well,
like
pay up
95%. Yeah, that's different. So these people have to
But
have
it's
a lot
still,
of
yeah,
equity.
it's that. I mean, being on a lender, like we're a lender, and we have right now we have 4 states doing an exam on us, and it takes a lot of manpower to handle those exams. So does that go into overdrive, and it just drives the cost to originate up?
Cost of originate's ridiculous right now, and of course that gets passed on to the clients. And so you're either going to see monopolies when it comes to mortgage companies and IMBs. I mean, just that's what you're either going to see that, or you're going to see the cost of origination go up, and then it'll be passed on to the clients. It's crazy that what happened in 08 needed a correction, but we don't need it to continue to be this.
Yeah.
And it's good to see that the correction that CFPB is pulling away. But again, I agree with you. If that comes in hardcore again,
Yeah,
it's gonna be
whole
rough.
Another turn, just stuff you got to deal with and
Yep.
worry about.
Yeah. But yeah, I agree with you. Like the state of the market, it's crazy. I agree that next year is going to be very similar. I think you'll see maybe dip into the 5s.
There'll be some sweet spots in there. Some people that, in the last couple of years have bought homes that were in the high 6s, low 7s. They'll have some opportunities to refinance and, kind of lower it down a little bit and help save a little bit of money. And it'll open up some other people into home ownership because the DTIs, they can qualify for a little bit of a home. I just hope it's not too much too fast where they would just go right back into a frenzy.
Yeah, for sure.
So it'll be, again, a frenzy might be great. It'd be great for us for a year. But then we're into another 5-year down cycle. I don't like this.
I'd rather have
Just
consistent increase than a huge increase and then a down cycle, right? Yeah, for sure. Zooming out, like, what do you think the trends are? The trends are in this industry over the next, let's say, 5 years. What trends do you think, or demographics, or what's going to shape lending? I know we kind of touched on a little bit of that.
I really think it's going to be who can capitalize on that lower demographic, that younger demographic, of who can figure out a way to market to them and appeal to them, and it can communicate with them in a method that they want communicated with, not via phone. I think that's the trend that people need to, like, lenders like us, we need to be worrying about, because there's a whole another group of kids that are coming in and they're going to be wanting to buy houses, and can we figure out how to work with them and, again, make their client relationship good?
Yeah, I think self-service. How do you give them the ability to self-service their own mortgage loan?
Yeah.
With little or no interaction with a human. And again, everybody's like, whoa. I was like, listen, man, you've had your chance to be good. Loan officers had their chance to do the right thing.
Yeah, and there can still be someone
There's
in
still
the
going to be some
background
good loan officers around.
Yeah. That's behind the scenes working that application. That's a licensed originator that has taken all the education and really honed themselves and educated themselves on their craft.
Educated.
Yeah.
Is the key word. Yep.
But because there's got to be somebody. There's some human element has to have oversight over that.
Yep.
That's going to be
Licensed,
so. There's a
yep.
spot for that. It just might be you're the middle person between the tech and
Yep.
the back end ops.
Yeah, I think drastically the world's going to change where in the next 5 years to 7 years, you're going to see people managing AI agents instead of managing people. But those people will have to be high-level skills.
Yeah.
So
It
really,
definitely won't
I
be
would-
that talented.
I
It
would
won't be
use-
that high quality. You won't have to be that amazing salesperson to do it. It's more
Correct.
somebody that's detail oriented.
They want
They can-
education and details without having to
Which,
talk to you.
in a lot of ways, benefits the consumer quite a bit more than someone who's just a really effective
100%.
salesperson.
100%. I
There's
just
a-
got done going on a rant. I agree with you.
Yeah.
You got I'm behind you chiming that bell.
Yeah.
I really think that the people are too easily sold, and I think they need to get rid of that. And I like that the younger generation isn't sellable. And they want education, they want information, and they want to be able to be informed enough so that they can make an educated decision. And so that's really what this is turning into. And I think that's a great thing for them.
Yeah, and that's like our whole thing at Green Lending. Like, we don't even call our loan officers. They're loan advisors. Like, we want to get them to that point where they're coming from a basis of advising and allowing that and giving that consumer as much information as possible so that they can make an educated decision instead of them like, no, you're not selling them on this. You're educating them and giving them the information they need to make the best decision for themselves.
Yeah.
And I always tell people, stop complaining about the hard things in your job, because pretty soon that's all you're going to have left. You know what I mean? So if you're good at those,
Yeah. Easy stuff.
job security.
Easy stuff's going away first.
Job security.
Hard stuff will go away last.
Yeah.
And if you're good enough, there'll be a position for you to be that human element, that point of contact. Because humans, I think, will always desire that.
And I don't think people that lose their job will lose their job, because they said this about, because think about it, the internet did take away a lot of people's jobs. It
But
did.
It
It did.
opened up a whole bunch of
Opened
other
up a
jobs.
whole
on
nother
the other
jobs,
side.
right?
Yeah.
So it did eliminate a ton of jobs. The calculator eliminated a ton of jobs. Like
Yeah.
every tech increases, it eliminated jobs, but it opens up more. So I'm not over here like, oh, I hope everybody loses their job. No, because I
Yeah,
know
the loan
more will
advisor,
open up.
the loan advisor is not going away.
Correct.
It's just it might be a little bit of a different skill set. But
The
if
bad
you
ones
adapt and overcome, you're going to be great.
Correct, because
Yeah.
they've already gone down.
Yeah.
So it's gone from, I forget the number, but this year it's at 95. Next year they predict it to be only 65,000 originators in the country. So the amount of originators have gone down. But they find other jobs. This wasn't for them. And I don't mean, if you're a doctor and you're killing people in surgery, I don't feel bad that you lost your job.
No.
You killed 6 people, like, because you didn't keep up on your. Now mistakes happen, but if it's strictly because you just don't keep yourself educated and you don't know what to do in situations that are difficult, you probably shouldn't be a surgeon. Same thing with loan officers. If you're not keeping up on your education and you're not learning about products, programs, knowing how to give the best delivery and deliver good numbers, I don't feel bad. You didn't do the work, so you don't deserve the pay. You know what I mean? So again, they'll find other jobs. So as a human that cares about humans, I'm glad they'll be able to get paid, but they should be in a different industry, and they'll be able to find that. So I, don't feel
I
that
can't.
bad.
I can't imagine that society always, like as a kind of a moving average, place so little emphasis on being good at what you do.
Don't.
Yeah.
There had to have been a point in our history as a nation that people took a lot of pride in that, because it's how they defined, their self-worth, how their peers saw them, just a very connected way of living, where I think there's an entitlement element to a lot of people's employment,
right.
that they landed the job, pay me my money, I'm here, I'll call off some days, I'll put in 75% effort, which probably shakes out to be somewhere around sub 50, because they don't realize that if you're not putting in 100, there's all sorts of things lost along the way. So you're really just a fraction of what you could be as an individual, a fraction of what you could be contributing to a company. So maybe AI is 100% needed to kind of about face a country that doesn't have front to back the work ethic that it's built on.
It's 100% the issue, and I always say
Pride in
this.
yourself, pride in
Yeah.
your job that you're doing. Yeah.
I'd say this. I had this conversation with somebody yesterday. So it's great you brought that up. But it's like the reason they're countries like China can build what we could in 5 years, what we can't build in 50, is because of that. There is pride. If you get fired from your job, so let's say you work for somebody and you're in China, and I don't agree with all the other stuff and the abuse and craziness, but if you get fired from your job, the culture there is you go home, your wife doesn't like you anymore. Your family doesn't like there's a feeling where like you're the bad person because you lost your job.
Yeah, not
In
the
America,
employer.
if you get fired, everybody hates the employer, and this person could be the worst employer ever, and people stand up for the employee, and that doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
Because I'm not firing a good employee. Like if someone's making me money, that's the great thing about mortgages. I tell people like I have even if I was a terrible person, if you're good at your job, I have to keep you because you making money makes me money.
Yeah.
So that's the culture shift. And when that shifted, the entire world shifted. The ability to turn an employer into a villain because you didn't do your job right is what the big issue is. Social media is a big thing on that too.
Yep.
Social media has drastically changed. It's the squeakiest wheel. It's the broken wheel that gets all the grease. And people are given these, I'm telling you, I see people and I know people that are online saying all this great stuff, downplaying this, talking about that, and they are absolutely no good at their job. Absolutely no good. Like, no good, like bad. And I feel bad for them because they think they're doing good, but they don't know what they're doing. They should educate themselves too, because if they were educated and they had that ability, they'd be
Oh my
even
God, yeah.
better.
Jeez. Yeah.
And so, like, that's the hard part is they don't care about the education because they're getting all the attention for their ability to do stuff online. And if they did both, they would kill it. These people are so good on social media that if they were good on this side, they'd be millionaires. They'd have their own company. But they just refuse to turn back on the education side. They could care less about it. And it's drastically, it drives me insane that realtors are like, oh, I use them, they're great. I'm like, okay. 'Cause I don't talk bad about anybody
Yeah.
personally.
They're
I'm
great.
always like, yeah, they're great.
They're great because you don't know any better.
Yeah.
And that's what the issue is they don't know any better. And so they think the person that's online talking is the one that's good, and it's really not. And I know you know people like that too, but
In every industry. I'm sure.
every
Yeah,
industry.
it is.
Every
Mine
industry.
as well.
Usually the person that's on Instagram that's going wild for their industry is usually the best, you know. So, all right. So what do you think about in your career? What do you think when you look back at your career so far? What do you think the thing you're most proud of?
Honestly, it's Green Lending. You know, because it's my baby.
your
I got
baby.
my two partners that have helped me, of course, to fulfill this dream. But I mean, that's it. That's having something that I walk in and I unlock the door. Now it's not a key anymore; it's a key fob. But to be able to have that and know that's something that I put every ounce of my being into it. Like I'm proud of it. Like we're doing well.
No,
And
I'm
it's-
super proud of you too. So I'm glad that you were able to do that. It's
Yeah, we
super
set a bunch
awesome.
of records. Had our best month last month.
Yeah, I was
It's
just about to say that.
It's very exciting to see the progression of everybody and seeing. Like we talked about those wins. There was a lot of people that had wins in the organization this month, that, like set personal records, and
Yep.
and that's what I'm most proud of.
It's great to see it, like what you did work wise is starting to turn
Yeah.
into something big. So
Yeah.
I'm super proud of you,
Thanks.
buddy.
Thanks.
I'm super happy for you too. You've done awesome, man.
Thanks.
I appreciate you coming on today,
Yes.
talking with us a little bit, spending
Yeah.
an hour and a couple minutes with us, and talking about the past,
Sure.
present.
I was.
Future.
I texted him this morning. Like I'm sweating already. I
You
sent
did
him that,
amazing.
but,
You sounded great.
yeah,
you did some
so-
good. It was a great pod.
Oh, this is good.
Thank you,
this
Tim.
Is good. Nice to meet you.
Tim's
Yeah.
a great guy. I love Tim
Yeah.
to death. He's a part of the new best friend
I
category.
am. I'm
Is
one
he
of.
going to be
I'm
at
one of
Catherine's
100.
for breakfast some of the times?
He don't ever come to none of that stuff. He's got too
No.
many kids. I feel
Oh,
bad for him.
yeah.
He's got 5 kids now.
I got,
Four kids and then a fifth one.
I got a handful.
There's a couple. Yeah.
I got a handful.
Listen, God always say, God bless you, dude. I don't ever, when you got that many kids and they're all within a relatively same age, I'm like, hey, listen, I totally get it if you're not going to come to dinner on the 15th
Yeah,
after you promised
understandable.
me you would. You know what I mean? So it's stuff like that.
I mean-
but don't worry, me and Mel will get dinner.
My wife will watch the kids. I'll be there.
Well, I appreciate it, brother. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thank you guys
Awesome.
both. I've had a good time.